Good evening, everyone. Today is the, what day is it? I think it's the 8th of March. Yes, indeed. I'm sorry, it's the 9th of March, Monday. And thank you all for being here. We're going to talk to you a little bit today about jet lag and time changes. So I know many of you, leadership is beginning this week in the US, and for many of you, you're going to be traveling around, you're going to be going different places, you may be crossing different time zones. Also in the United States, you may know that we just went through we moved our clocks ahead 1 hour because we are now on daylight savings time. I'm sorry. Yes, now we're on daylight savings time. We were on Eastern Standard Time before, and now we're on daylight savings time. So Eastern savings time. So if you will, actually, for me, it's a wonderful thing because during the winter months, I actually get up an hour earlier to make sure that this call comes off and that we have a really good presentation. So this morning, I felt like I had gone on vacation. I got a whole extra hour to kind of, as you can see, I did my makeup and I'm on my way out the door pretty soon. And sure enough, we'll be able to do a lot of different things here because we're going to have longer days. So where I live, and I live in the Northern Hemisphere, you know that I live in the United States, we have longer days as it goes closer to June 21st. June 21st for us is the longest day of the year. And we are kind of looking forward to those days and mornings where it's going to get longer and longer. And we're going to have a really good long space to do what we need to do during the day. This morning when I woke up, it was still dark. So my alarm goes off. This morning went off at 6:30, and which was actually a little bit later than usual. And we looked out the window and it was still dark out there. But now by 9 o'clock, it's actually beautiful. It's like a beautiful spring day. So bright, clear skies. So let me get started with you. Let me share my screen. Oops. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about what you can do for jet lag. And I know some of you also will be traveling far distances when we go to convention over the summer or at the end of the summer in September. And that can be really disconcerting. I know that a whole group of you have been coming to the United States quite a few days early so that by the time convention starts, you're actually raring to go. As always, I want to say thank you to our Presidential Diamond team. These are the men and women who work so hard every week, every day to not only help with this presentation, to make sure that all of you are here, but also to support your teams and to support each and every one of you. So if you didn't know, March is actually March Madness, and that means it's the season for college basketball. And if you're outside of the United States, I want you to just think for a second, wait a minute. Basketball? Okay, I know basketball is an international sport. It's been played all over the world. In China, it was played back in the early 1900s, maybe even earlier. And here in the United States, it is very popular. So college basketball is all about March Madness. And the reason it's called March Madness, and you can see this is a super fan, it refers to that time of year, usually mid-March through the beginning of April, when the National Collegiate Athletic Association, men's and women's, college basketball tournaments are held. And that term somehow captures the excitement that swirls around the sports world as tournament time approaches. And you can see this guy calls himself a big nut, and he's got his cap on and he's ready to go. He's cheering on his team. I think he's cheering for OSU, which is Oklahoma State University. Every year, the teams that go to the final are different, and that's a really cool thing, and it makes everybody super competitive. I have been to some of those games and they were wild, and I went to an all-women's college, so we didn't really have a great basketball team, I have to say, but my husband actually graduated from Princeton University, and their arch rival is Harvard, and I can remember going to a rivalry game during March Madness, Harvard versus Princeton, and Princeton won in a buzzer beater. And if you don't know what a buzzer beater is, that's 1 point made just before the final bell. So it was pandemonium, as you can imagine. My son and my daughter were there. They were both really tiny, and it was just magical. We had a great time. So for all of you who have not been to a basketball game lately or have not watched a basketball game, now is the time to start watching. And here's just a slice of what goes on. You can see the giant trophies up at the top there. You can see the fans that paint their faces and get all dressed up depending on what their school colors are. And then finally the national champions, when they rain down all the confetti, and they have all sorts of, and of course the final championship games are played in giant national stadiums. It is a big deal. And that was actually the final champions from 2019. And I don't yet know who's going to be playing. And people, of course, bet on it and go crazy. So just introducing you to a little bit of the world of sports before we get started. The other thing I want to mention to you is basketball is not the only sport that people are going to be playing in the springtime. They're going to be getting out and playing golf and tennis and all different sorts of sports. So next week, you want to make sure that you are tuned in. Why? Because sports are all about getting healthy, but they're also about maybe aches and pains. And what do we do if we fall or we scrape our knee or we strain our back, or we are what in the US is kindly called a weekend warrior, someone who gets out there and just does their sport over the weekend, but really doesn't do it any other time of the year. So if you're a weekend warrior, good for you. I'm glad you're getting out there and you're trying to just take advantage, as we say in Spanish, aprovechar the time, the beautiful weather that we're going to start having right now, and get out there and do some sports. And I'm going to teach you some tips and tricks for staying healthy. Last but not least, one of my favorite sports, lacrosse. For those of you who don't know what lacrosse is, this is my son's sport. And yes, this is one crazy kind of a sport. And if you can see the young man in the red, those are the Iron Men, and that is my son's team. And they hold that long stick with the basket at the end. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually a small size ball in there, smaller than a baseball, my friends, that goes into that basket. They have to run down the field or toss the ball from one person to the other. And yes, they are super adept at catching the ball in those little tiny baskets. And then the object of the game is to throw that ball into a basket-sized goal. And so all spring sports are starting, and next week we're going to be talking about staying healthy as you get outdoors. Okay, but let's get started on the meat and potatoes of today's presentation. As always, the ideas expressed today, or most of the time at least, are from the book, Essential Oils Healthcare for Today, A Beginner's Guide. Okay, so today we're dealing with change or jet lag. Last night or Saturday night, sorry, in the US, we moved our clocks forward. So what does that mean? At midnight, or they actually say at 2 a.m. I do it before I go to sleep. You actually, before you get into bed, just move your clock 1 hour forward. But what does that mean? You basically lost a whole hour of sleep. And so I'm going to teach you some ways that you can deal with this. Same thing happens to you when you get on a plane. If you're crossing a time zone, you may lose some time or you may gain some time. Now, this year's leadership is going to be held in Phoenix, Arizona. For me, coming to the US, I would actually gain some time on the way over, but I would lose it on the way back. And in a short trip, those things can be very disconcerting. Okay, well, we're changing our clocks, we're dealing with change, but essential oils can help. Yesterday was daylight savings, spring forward, as I said before. In the fall here in the US, we quote unquote fall back. So we actually gain an hour in the fall, but that means that I have to get up an extra hour earlier to do this, this call. And I have to say, some mornings I just barely crawl out of bed. So this week I'm missing my extra hour of sleep, but I'm super happy that I got to get online here with you. And you can hear in my voice, I'm a little bit more cheerful. I'm a little bit more peppy. I just feel really good today. Okay, It's reminding me of the jet lag also that I experience when I travel to visit all of you, or when you have to come here to the US to visit us for a convention. New time zones, even just a little time change like we're experiencing here in the US, can mess up our circadian rhythms. And our circadian rhythms are those natural rhythms that everybody has that tell us now is the time to go to sleep. Now is the time to wake up, and most of them are tied to light. So if you've ever had a baby or if you've been around a baby, you know that they do much better when they're on some sort of a sleep schedule, getting them into bed at a certain time and having them wake up at the natural time that their body wants to wake or sleep. If you've ever seen a little toddler kind of running around getting crazy, it's probably because their sleep schedule has been pushed off schedule. Whether or not maybe it's a party or it's some sort of a family gathering and they've stayed up a little bit too late. It's sort of like what my mom used to call too much party, and that can mess up our circadian rhythms. Okay, so over my years of traveling, I've put together a list of tips, tricks, and essential oils that keep me up and running, even when time change has gotten me stuck in a rut. And so I use these. Now I have to say, sometimes they work really well, and other times I don't do all the steps, and then they don't quite work as well. Now, if you get on the internet, you will hear and see all different sorts of tricks, including wearing dark glasses in the middle of the day, which many of us can't do because we either work in an office or we see other people who would think we were a little bit crazy. But these things are kind of easy tips that you can use. And I have to say, my jet lag has absolutely gotten better from when I first started traveling to Asia in 2010 to today, 2020. Okay, number one, and you can get out your pencils or you can take a photograph of this slide. The night before, you want to get more sleep than you think is necessary. And that's me lying in the bed, or me, the little cat, kind of snoozing away. I like the dog, but the ears are kind of funny. I don't happen to have big ears like that. Before a time change or a long trip, I like to take a night of self-care to get the optimal type and amount of sleep that I need. That way I'm sure that my body's going to be fully rested before the change. So before my early bedtime, I'll take a relaxing Epsom salt and lavender or Serenity Lavender Peace bath. After my bath, I fill my diffuser with a calming blend and try to read something that doesn't stimulate my mind too much to make me groggier. Then I set my alarm for a later time than usual. So I'm trying to force myself to get a little bit of extra sleep. I might also try regular Peace, one of the Peace roll-ons. I might try my Adaptive. I would definitely alter some of these depending on the case or what I had in the house, but these are some of the steps that I would take. So a Lavender Peace or Serenity lessens feelings of tension, calms emotion, diffuses for a subtle aroma, ideal for relaxation, great for a restful sleeping. You can apply it to the bottoms of the feet, to the wrists, whatever you feel is comfortable, add to a warm bath, and of course, diffuse, diffuse, diffuse. Number two is I try to stay hydrated with internal use of essential oils. Now, for me, this is key, and I'm going to tell you a little story of what happened to me this weekend. When you're traveling or just tired, remember to drink as much water as you can, or maybe you should, to really work hard to drink that water, and try to make it more enjoyable by adding lemon, grapefruit, and Slim and Sassy. So Friday night, I have to say, we had a little bit of a party here, not a big party, but just a little bit of a get together. And I have to say, I had a cocktail. I admit, I confess, and I also had a glass of wine. And then the following morning, I woke up and I was dead. I really felt like, oh my gosh, what happened to me? And I stayed up a little bit too late. It was just one of those nights where you say, oh dear, what did I do? So I got up the following morning and I was going to start my regular normal routine, which all of you know is a drop of frankincense and a drop of grapefruit under the tongue. And I actually sat down to prepare this presentation and I saw this slide and I thought, yes, I'm going to take some additional oils. So what did I do? I actually made myself a big glass of water with lemon oil in it. No surprise there, not a big deal. And I didn't put Slim and Sassy in my water, but I took Slim and Sassy gel caps. And I have to tell you, it really made a big difference. Within about a half an hour, I was feeling so much better, brighter, lighter, more clear-headed. I didn't have to drink a gallon of coffee or 4 liters of coffee to be able to wake myself up. It's just the kind of the detoxification that I needed. And then I woke up and I felt so much better. So don't discount taking your oils internally, whether you're suffering from jet lag or you've just overdone it a little bit like me. Okay. You want to add a drop or two of your essential oils to your water, to a drink, or even to your coffee. You can, as I did, use lemon or grapefruit in water, and you can even use a little bit of wild orange in your coffee or peppermint. It really is very tasty. Okay, so here's a cool blend for diffuser. I think you'll like this. You can actually take 5 drops of actual coffee. We do not have a coffee essential oil. You're going to take 5 drops of actual coffee and then 4 drops of vanilla. And you're going to get this right out of your grocery cabinet, your pantry cabinet. We do not have vanilla oil separate. And then you're going to add the following oils that we do have: nutmeg, clove, peppermint, cinnamon bark, it's not cinnamon leaf, and then ginger. And you're really going to smell this intoxicating smell. Okay, during the day, tip number 3, to stay awake, diffuser jewelry. This can be a cool way for you to kind of smell your essential oils throughout the day. Gentlemen, you may not feel as comfortable doing this, but you could always use something like a key fob or a key chain that has a little bit of an absorptive stone or a piece of cloth or something at the end of it that you can drop essential oils on it. And then you can either touch that or have that available. Might be in your pocket and you're kind of feeling it and sensing it throughout the day. So diffuser jewelry is a wearable piece that diffuses the sense of essential oils into the air you breathe. I also like to carry my roll-ons. So I carry roll-ons, or I have them in my car on a daily basis. I always have my peppermint and my On Guard beadlets with me, but when I'm feeling a little bit extra jet lagged, I'll make sure to carry my Motivate, my Cheer, and my Passion, because those are my kind of 3 morning wake me up oils. And because they come pre-mixed in roll-ons, makes it very convenient for me. Okay. Here's another quick blend: Uplifting, Bright, and Fresh. You can use 3 drops of Breathe or Easy Air, 2 drops of wild orange, and 3 drops of lime. So 3, 2, and 3. And this is a bright, uplifting, fresh blend. Okay, many of these tips, as you see, are just routine and ritual maintenance. So sticking to the routines I've developed also helps associate certain times and actions with either staying awake or getting to sleep. And that has to do with time blocking. It has to do with using, for me, a planner. I use my Full Focus planner, as you know, all the time. Keeps me on routine. I have my daily routine, daily startup routine, my daily shutdown routine, and that really helps me to get organized and to feel like I'm doing the right things at the right time. Just like those babies we talked about earlier, babies and adults tend to associate certain things with certain times. Keeping to those routines, even though you may feel a little bit out of whack, are the first and best things that you can do. The last thing you want to do is you want to get out in the sun and go enjoy yourself. But don't forget, you can do this. You'll be feeling like yourself again soon. And once you get into that airport and you see the new place that you're going to be visiting, even just the excitement of seeing it and enjoying it is going to help you to get over your jet lag or whatever it is you're feeling. Now, if you're in the United States and you just sprung your clock ahead, you may be thinking, but I'm not going on a special trip. No, maybe you're not, but treat yourself to something that you're going to look forward to and is really going to cheer you and help you to feel better and better. So I hope those tips were helpful to you. I hope you'll follow on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or or LinkedIn. We're going to have a whole, this presentation will be on YouTube posted and Facebook. And today we have a blog for you with even more tips about how to stay healthy during those times of either changing your time or jet lag. Okay, remember folks, you are amazing. I'm glad you're here, but honestly, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, you've got that inner fire, and I know you're going to have a wonderful, wonderful day. I want to thank you for being here and have a wonderful week. Okay, everyone. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions for you. Oh, we have a nice crowd today. I'm so excited. 86 of you, so great. Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you and I want you to write in the chat. Okay, how many of you have experienced jet lag in the past? Give me, look into your chat. Yeah, a lot of me's. Doreen says me, Andy, Cheryl, Shannon, Regina, Amanda, Tan, Danielle, Chow. Sometimes it's tough, right? You feel sleepy. Eva, Megan, people are saying yes, yes. For 3 days straight, Betty says. I know what it feels like. Kang, Schwa, yes, jet lag can be a tough one. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from Dubai, oh yeah, that can be a tough one. If you've had jet lag, what have you used any of the things that I've suggested? And if you didn't use those oils, what did you use? So question number one, did you use any of the any of the suggestions that I made? Tell me in the chat. Yes, okay, you did use some. Great, Doreen. Okay, Bebe Sia says me. Shannon says no. Chow Bang says yes. Angie Rosales says yes. Chia Pei Shan says yes. Tan says yes. Danielle says yes. Megan said she drank coffee in the past. Yeah, me too. A lot of it. Unfortunately, I was not exposed to oils at that time. Ah, okay, so next time. Shannon says that was before oils. Yep, I got it. Okay, so if you use essential oils, Janice says, I've never tried oils, but I used to take melatonin. Okay, and peppermint to refresh up. I used to take melatonin also, and sometimes on long haul flights, that would help me. But if the flight was too short, it didn't help me. It actually made me groggier. So when I got to my destination, I was like, a mess, falling down. And when I was trying to get my my baggage at the end, I wasn't doing too well. Kit Peng says lavender and breathe. Joanna says, I just try to sleep on the plane. Joanna, does that help you? Because it doesn't always help me. Sometimes it does. Sometimes I can't get enough sleep. Orange to not get so dizzy, Choo Choo says. And Doreen Fong says, I took Tri-Ease on the flight and used peppermint and Intune. I'll have to try that. Eva says lavender and lemon. Okay. Anybody else? What have you used for jet lag? I've used Serenity capsules on planes to help me to sleep on the plane. I've used Adaptive when Adaptive first came out. I was using that when I came to see you all in November. I was using Adaptive and Serenity. I use my Copaiba sometimes because, as you know, plane seats can be a little bit cramped, and if you sleep in a funny position and your neck gets stiff, then you want to kind of loosen up your neck a little bit. You also want to get off the plane and feel like, I'm ready to go. You don't want to just fall on your face and then not have anything to do. Okay, Cindy says Adaptive capsules and lavender peace. Okay, cool. Sanchuan says now travel with a mask on, breathe and on guard, sleep like a baby. Wow. Okay, Sanchuan, that's cool. Forrest says lavender helped me to get a good sleep. Okay, terrific. Joanna says sleeping worked for me, but now I know of oils, I'm gonna try. Okay, I think you need a combination of things. You wanna think that you're gonna sleep on the plane, but sometimes we don't for whatever reason. Maybe you were in a center seat, maybe the plane is too hot or too cold, maybe I don't know, our seat is not comfortable, or the person in front of us reclines too much on top of us and we have no room. It can be a lot of different things. Let's see what everybody else is saying. Doreen says, refill my water bottle with water and drop lemon to keep myself hydrated. Good tip. Yes, that I'm going to do that now on planes too. Regina says, keep busy routine and use all kinds of refreshing essential oils. For example, peppermint, lemon to stay alert, doze off at night, and then return back to normal the next day. Yeah, I think that's mostly true unless you've done a really long haul flight. So for me coming to Asia, or for you all in Asia coming to the US, it can be a big trouble. That first day, maybe you're fine, and then the second day, boom, you're falling on your face. Tan says, no problem for me to sleep in the flight. The problem is the bed and pillow in the hotel. Okay, got it. I got it. Okay, my friends. So how does the topic for next week sound? Exercise and staying healthy as we get back out and exercise. Is everybody enthusiastic about that? Does it sound like a good topic? And also, so that's question number 1. Yes. Okay. Cheryl says yes. Great. Luke says yes, please. Okay, great. Kit Ping, don't forget, spread the word, my friends. Shannon says yes. If you're not interested, please tell me. Say, no, that's boring, because I want to hear. Betty says yippee. Okay, thank you, Betty. Get your friends who love to exercise, or get your friends who you play tennis with to come out and I'm just about to complete my detox. 10 more days to go. Great, Doreen. Shua Seong says, I like it. Rose says, awesome. Thank you, Rose. Bebe's yes. Annie, yes. Angie, yes. Winnie, yes. Okay, great. Okay, that's terrific. Thank you, you all. So spread the word for us, right? We want to make sure that people are actually getting out and they're hearing about this particular call. And we also want to make sure that each and every week we're attracting new people. And even if they can't get on live to win a prize, that they're getting on later and watching on YouTube, right? So please spread the word. If you are able to send people a message, send them a message, even today, telling them we are having this call. It's taped on YouTube. I'm just taking a few notes as I'm listening and I'm talking at the same time. Can you cover how to prep before exercise and recover quickly afterwards? Yes, Pamela, I can, absolutely. Spreading in my group. So I'm going to tell you something really funny. As you know, everybody's gotten a little bit crazy about the coronavirus, and they keep telling us to wash our hands, wash our hands, wash our hands. And I hope you all think that this is funny, but I've washed my hands so much this week that all my nail polish popped off except for my pinkies. So that's just a little comedy there. I still have nail polish on my pinkies, but nothing else. Everything else is gone. Pretty funny. I think you all are really working hard to stay healthy, helping your teams to stay healthy. And I want to make sure that every week that you get on here, you feel that this is a happy, positive place that you can come to, and that we can really talk to each other and interact a little bit. How to help eye bags. Yeah, that's a big one. All right. Yeah, I didn't scrub my pinkies enough. Yeah. Pamela, if I have any germs, they're going to be on my pinkies. Absolutely right. Okay, so we are going to we have 2 lucky winners today are actually going to win the Passion Roll-On. So the Passion Roll-On today for 2 lucky winners. And let me try to get the... You all are so funny. And next week I have to see what our winners are going to win. I have to make sure I send some more products. Okay, our 2 winners today are Rose Stanner Andrew, and Cindy C. That's Cindy with a Y. C-Y-N-D-Y-C, C-Y-N-D-Y-C. And Rose Stanner Andrew. Cindy, if you can tell us in the bottom type to me privately what your last name is, so that I can make sure that you get your prize. Congratulations to our winners, and have a wonderful week. I'm so happy that everybody was here. This has been a lot of fun. And so good to, yes, Cindy, you. What's your last name? Type it in. So happy to hear from everybody. So good to see you. We are not going to have a mentoring call today because we are, okay, thank you, Cindy. I got your last name. I'm actually on my way to do some sampling at a doctor's office, which is kind of fun. And I'll tell you a little bit about that next week. So I'm going to go to the doctor's office. I'm going to stand in the waiting room. And as you can see, I'm all dressed up today and I have my hair in a bun so that I look nice and professional. And I'm going to be giving out samples in the doctor's waiting room. Of course, I got permission from the doctor. This is a doctor that I know pretty well and has treated my family. She's actually an orthopedic surgeon. And I've done this with her in her office before, so it should be a lot of fun. So I'll make sure that I'll come back here next week and I'll talk to you all about it. And since we're going to be talking about exercise and staying healthy and how we feel after exercise, it's going to be a perfect transition. So have a wonderful week, everyone. I can't wait to hear from you all, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye now.